It's Ask Lee Day, so if you've got any questions you want me to answer on these videos, then just leave them in the comments below and I will add them to the list and answer them in future videos. Alright, hope you're having a good week. Let's get straight into it. So, today's questions. The first one, oops, I switched it off, hang on a sec. Okay, it's from Taylor Trent. Hey, it's me again. My question is, what is your view on conjuring demons and have you done it? I'm interested in conjuration and don't know where to start. Is there any books on conjuring demons you recommend? Okay, now, this word conjuring, it can mean different things for different people, I think. So I'm going to tell you or answer you from my perspective. When it comes to conjuring, what it usually refers to is conjuring a spirit into physical manifestation. This is theophany. And this is very different to, kind of overlap, but different to invoking or evoking. So when we invoke, we bring the spirit in. And that's usually what we do in demonology. A lot of demonologists don't actually like using the term evoke. They feel it is disrespectful. Some of them use evoke and invoke. You know, all the words kind of have these slight differences for different people. I think it depends on personal interpretation and personal preference. So I'm going to stick with invoke. So when we invoke, we bring the energy of the spirit in, and we can bring it into ourselves, we can bring it into our space, we can bring it into an object. So we're working with the energy of the spirit. Now, when we are doing theophany, or I'm going to assume that's what you mean when you say conjuring, when we are conjuring or doing theophany, we are physically manifesting a spirit. So, you know, we would call the spirit in and we would concentrate and focus that energy, and it would form into a physical body that not just you can see, but everybody else in the room can see. And I think that's the big difference, because when you're working with ritual and you're working with spirits, quite often what you find is the person who's doing the invocation may see a form in front of them that they can interact with, and that form is often only something they can see. If there's other people in the room, they may not be able to see it, depending on the person's abilities, their clear senses, their second sight, and things like this. So somebody who does have sight might be able to see what the person who is invoking would see as well. But when it comes to theophany, it really is a case of physically manifesting the spirit so that it's there physically. Everybody else can see it, and it may just be a shadow figure or something like that, but everybody can see it. Everybody can interact with it. Now, theophany is a very advanced method, so my suggestion, if you haven't gotten to that point yet, is to just stick to the practices, get the foundation work going, and work your way up to that. So theophany is very much in the same realm as doing gate opening, so it is quite advanced. In fact, theophany involves a lot of gate opening in the perspective of demonology and in the context of S. Connolly's works. There is this book, Infernal, I can never say this word, Colopatiron. I'm going to let you decide how to say that. Alright, so there's this book. Now, in order to get this book, you have to be on Connolly's mailing list. It's only available for list members. So find her website. If I remember correctly, it's called The Quadrant. You should be able to find it. Her website has all of her pseudonyms. So she has 4 different pseudonyms that she writes under for different genres. But you'll find all of them on the website, and you can join the mailing list, and you can just pick which genres or pseudonyms you want to be mailed about. And then what happens is you obviously get a newsletter, and in that newsletter it will give you the link to the Lulu store where these books are sold. So that's how you get hold of these books. They're not sold on Amazon or anything, they're just only for list members. A couple of things I just wanted to read in here, if I can find it now. Okay, so in the first chapter, theophany. Theophany is a manifestation, not a manifestation in the metaphoric sense. For example, to manifest God in all things, but rather a real, physical, visible, living, breathing entity as clear as the nose on your face. Theophany is what many magicians think of when they think of advanced magic, bringing forth spirits, demons, genii, angels, and the gods themselves into the magic circle, onto the physical plane, in a physical form the magician can see, communicate with, hear, and yes, perhaps even touch. So that's a very good description of theophany. So apart from this book, in her introduction to the book, there are 2 recommendations here as well, so I'm just going to read that and why. The 2 books I recommend that discuss demonic manifestation are Joseph Liszewski's The Power of Evocation, not because I agree with his methods, but rather I think his smoke and mirrors and work yourself into a spiritual frenzy approach is worthwhile for those who seek to understand how psychology can play a large role in the art of magic and the manifestation of said magic. Secondly, I recommend Steve Savedo's Goetic Evocation, because it seems Mr. Savedo did a great deal of what we demonologists call ascension work. I will also recommend for future the journals of Richard Ducant, which I believe Les Connolly is going to publish at some stage, but hasn't yet. Alright, so I would definitely recommend that book. Now, as I said, it does involve gate opening, and the methods used in Connolly's works requires a lot of space. You are going to be going through each gate, and there's 10 gates. And with the ritual itself, you open the gate and you actually step through, and then you open the next gate and you step through. So if you consider having, let's say, a meter where you can sit down, do all the stuff, open the gate, and then step through and sit down in the next space, you're looking at about a space of about 10 meters long. So you do require a lot of space. There's also Percival's Ascension ritual in here, which uses, let's just see, Percival's Ascension formula, which does use triangle and circle formula, which is, it's not the long method, step, 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 step all the way along, but that also does require a lot of space. So if you have the space to do it, great. If you don't, I'm going to be working on this myself at some stage in a format which doesn't require a lot of space, because I don't have a lot of space. So alright, so that really is what I consider conjuring, or what is called theophany, the physical manifestation of spirits into physical form. Alright, I hope that answers the question. If you had a different idea of what conjuring is, just let me know. Have I done it? That was the other question. No, I have not. The main reason being that I don't really find it necessary. I don't need to physically manifest a spirit in my space. I mean, I can interact with it just fine without doing that. And I don't need to do it to prove anything. So I haven't done it. It's never happened. So, yeah. Alright, so the next question. From Fat Ass Squirrel. Love that name, absolutely love that name. Sorry, I'm a bit blocked up, I've got hay fever. So, I have to excuse the funny sounding voice. How would you know if a spirit is reaching out to you? Very good question. A bit difficult to decipher. So what you'll probably find is that it kind of pops up everywhere. So you may be checking things out on the internet, or you may be scrolling through social media, you may be reading a book, and this name just keeps coming up. It just keeps throwing itself in your face, and that's usually a very good sign that the spirit is reaching out to you and wants to work with you, or has a connection with you already, and is just trying to awaken that connection. I've personally found that that's what happens. Just keeps popping up. It comes up in conversations with other people. You know, you just have this name of the spirit keep popping up, and then one day you'll be talking to somebody, all of a sudden they'll mention it out of the blue, completely unexpected. And then you talk to somebody else, the same thing happens. And then you read a book, which is completely unrelated, and the name pops up. So it just keeps coming up and coming up and coming up and coming up. It's like knocking on the door over and over and over again. You know, notice me, notice me. And I tend to be the naughty one and not do anything about it for several years. So try not to do that. Just get in there and just get it over with. Hecate was knocking on my door for many years, and I just decided one day, okay, fine, let's do this, and everything was good after that. So really that's it. I don't know if anybody else has had any other experiences that they can talk about in this regard, but that's really my experience. It really is just a case of the spirit just knocking over and over and over again to let you in and just pay attention and take notice. And it just keeps popping up over and over and over again. Best way to decipher whether a spirit's reaching out to you. Alright, so that's our 2 questions for today. Keeping them to 2 because it seems to keep the rhythm going. And as I said, if you do have any questions you would like me to answer in this video or future videos for Ask Lee, just put them in the comments below and I will include them. So next week we've got a question from Linda Green and from Joanne. So those will be in next week's Ask Lee. Okay, so I'll see you then. Have a good one for now. Have a great weekend, week, everything else, and etc. And well, rest of the month. And I'll see you in October. There you go. Well, apart from the Friday live and the Saturday Demon of the Week, I'll see you in October. All right. Have a good one. Cheers for now. Bye bye.